I don't care if you're a prize fighter, a sports entertainer, a superstar. We're wrestlers in a wrestling ring. Let's just freaking wrestle.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Sensei, the place to be. Children, Mr. A&D. Back to give you guys a Monday Night Raw review. Joining me is not Deion Sanders for prime time.
What up?
I thought this was a solid episode of Raw. This wasn't a Raw that was focused on like big surprises. We didn't get anybody debuting like new on Raw today. As everything was more tighter in this episode. It felt like with the storylines that we kind of have right now, we're gonna just take it what we got and go to Clash of the Castle, and then we're gonna try to maneuver after that. And once again, when you're dealing with that, this is what happens. You know, it's not going to be a surprise or reveal every week, which everybody I know was probably expected until he cleans. You know, he brings everybody back, which is not going to happen. There are going to be weeks that you're going to have what some fans may call more dead weeks, or they're going to have something where it's going to be called more, not exciting things. But this is what Triple H operates as. And
I just like that he's trying. Some people are actually more excited that he's trying rather than just be like, oh, okay, this would do like this.
Exactly. And
so
what I liked also was that the show wasn't even though people tuned in to see, the show today was more revolved around the superstars that we have, such as we showcased Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles, who had a good match, and then we also showcased Dolph Ziggler and Theory, who had a good match, and we brought back wrestling. When I'm talking about the term wrestling,
what's that?
Oh no, we can't say that. We can't say that no more.
Sports entertainment.
No, I mean, well, they'll probably say on AEW talk about stuff. We're sports entertainers that we're gonna be in the sports entertainment ring, and do, kind of like with McIntyre and Owens was like we're wrestlers and we need to
sports entertainers.
Yeah, and wrestling in a wrestling ring. So I'm like, we got a mention of wrestling 3 times, and Drew and Kevin Owens are starting to have a good match, which I think that storyline is leading up to what I expect between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Bloodline, and I'll get to that when we talk about it. So I thought, like I said, it was a solid episode of Raw, and I know there are some people that was expecting like a reveal or who's coming back now this week. I'm like, sometimes you're not going to get that. We just got to build up what we have now, build up the superstars that we have, so we can further out these little storylines that he's trying to push, because it may not even be nobody that comes on Smackdown, but you never know. Next week, it could be somebody, because I know the reports are talking about Bray Wyatt coming back and Gargano, stuff like that, and Sasha and Naomi and all that stuff like that. And it's all, and of course, there's a thing that can happen. But right now, we're focused on a one solid storyline. Or not, I mean, more, in-house type stuff. So, right now, let's get on to Raw, because Raw kicks off with Judgment Day. Judgment Day, first of all, they do play a hype video talking about, we're in the nation's capital, obviously, and then we're going to be having that big United States Championship matchup, and I was like, okay, cool.
I got my weeks mixed up. I thought this was the week that they were in Toronto.
Oh, Toronto's next week when it's going to be Edge and Damian Priest. Edge with the short hair returning to actually going to have a match on Raw, like a singles match. So, but right now, Judgment Day makes their way to the ring, and then Balor, Priest, and Ripley. They talked about how Rhea Ripley brutalized Dominic last week and checked the file. And basically, they're just cutting the promo, giving Balor time to cut a promo and stuff like that. But then Mysterio comes into the ring. He come in there with a chair, and he starts taking out Judgment Day. But Rhea Ripley stands in his way, like, all right, you ain't gonna hit a woman now, right? So they kind of like walking back and forth, and that's what distracts them some more. And Ray starts, trying to fight back. It gets the chair, and then he goes, takes out Balor, takes out Priest. He's about to go hit Balor again, but then Rhea comes right in front of Balor and blocks him from doing it again, which distracts him long enough that he gets beat down by Priest, and then Rhea gives Mysterio a DDT on the chair. And then
Now,
go ahead.
If I'm being completely honest, now I don't condone hating women, but wrestling is necessary. Rhea is like 2 times bigger than Ray.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I don't think it would hurt her like in real life if he was like, all right, my character can punch your character because you're bigger than me. But, that's like when when he gave Nia Jax 619.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you can do it then, but you can't do it now. All right.
I mean, I think we could be set up to a Rhea again at 619.
Nah, I think Rhea is. Rhea beating up Dom every week. That's what we get into.
It is
Do you remember that era of SmackDown where Enzo Amore were in Raw laid out somehow, some way he would get knocked out in the show?
Yeah,
for like a year straight. That's what I feel like.
One of the best is when Rusev beat the shit out of him in the hotel.
But it was like every week he was getting knocked out. Like he would fight and he'd win the match, but then the person would come back and kick him in the face and he'd be knocked out.
Yeah.
Like, every week.
That Joe was crazy. Enzo was somewhat of a treasure. So they give Rey Mysterio the coup de grace on the steel steps. So on the steel chair. So what it's looking like, Judgment Day was sitting there looking strong.
I have another question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about face Balor doing the coup de grace?
He's out.
I mean, heel Balor doing the coup de grace.
I have a problem with it. Maybe if he was to bring back like 1916 for the heel finish. I
wish he would bring back the actual 1916 with the the Paradigm Shift version.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what knocked out Gargano. Yeah, so if he was to do that, I think I would like that more as his heel move opposed to the coup de grace. Especially after they kind of like messed that up with the whole Roman Reigns versus the Demon thing where they had the top rope snap.
Yeah.
And they had him doing the whole shock jumps and everything. That kind of was like, ruined that whole thing.
Yeah, because he didn't do it when he was in NXT at all. He didn't do the coup de grace. Because 1916 was switching. The first night, main roster, he's smiling again and he doing the coup de grace. I was like, oh my God, Vince.
Yeah. So, because right now we got to see just Judgment Day goes now, because now they're getting more TV time, more promo time, and a little bit more life in there, so they won't be turned to like the Dark Order or something like that.
I'm going to be honest with you. Rhea is saving this group single-handedly.
Yes.
I don't care about none of them other members. So.
We know that. So, I think when it comes to Clash of the Castle, I think it's going to be Rey and Edge taking on Priest and Balor. It has to be.
It could be.
You don't think so? Because right now we already got a 6-women's tag, so we know.
I can see that it being Rey and Edge and Priest and Balor, but I'm just Dominic gonna try to get involved. I think that's probably when Dominic will do something.
Yeah, it could be a turn and join them, whatever the case may be. But I do believe that's going, because obviously he has to go against Priest next week, and I don't know, they may give Priest a win.
They are former tag team champions, so
yeah. So I mean, Edge and
Edge and Rey, they are former tag team champions together. So I don't know if they're going to be like, we can team since we are good as a team, but I don't know if they're going to actually bring that up or not. So,
well, there's some other things that was brought up from way back in the past. So I can be curious about that.
Yeah. They probably do that. The Parabomb 10-time finisher if they can.
So yeah, I think that's what what they're working up to for the match of Judgment Day. Then we go into our first. That was a decent opener. So now we go into our first round Women's Tag Team Champion tournament. Asuka and Alexa Bliss taking on Nikki ASH and Doudrop. The winners will face Io Sky and Dakota Kai in the semifinals next week. So, was the match a little bit better than some of the ones from earlier in the tournament? I guess. But it's still, it didn't get me there. And that's what, the problem that's going to be. I didn't really care too much about this matchup. Asuka made Doudrop tap out with the Asuka lock. So they're obviously going to go ahead for it. where this goes, because obviously it looks like the finals is not going to be at Clash of the Castle. Like the finals is going to be on a Raw or Smackdown or a special show afterwards. Who knows? But I think they're going to probably go into Clash of the Castle with the tag team championships around their waist, or however. Like I said, I don't know what the plan is. So right now, it's good to just sit back and try to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, just gotta sit back, wait to see.
Exactly. So, So Asuka and Alexa Bliss wins that matchup, and then on SmackDown, I do have Nikita Lyons as Zoe Starks being Natalya and Sonya Deville. Afterwards, Bianca Belair celebrates with Asuka and Alexa Bliss in the ring, and they go up the ring, but they get confronted by Bayley's Group Control, if that's what it's called. And everybody's like, well, they will, clash at Clash of the Castle, and they kind of like the officials get between them so they won't do another brawl. So, we have Ken Patrick backstage with Theory. And he's talking about the Money in the Bank holder. We have seen some SummerSlam. And then all of a sudden, Dolph Ziggler comes up. And he lets you know that,
all of a sudden, more like for no reason.
Yeah. And he was just like, I understand Money in the Bank. I've been there before. But, I forgot what he told Theory. But to sum it all up, Theory was just like... funny. Dude was like, you did win the Money in the Bank briefcase and you were world champion, but he says the problem is that he'll keep winning. When he touches the cash, he'll keep winning and winning. Unlike Ziggler, he won't screw up the rest of his career. So Ziggler hits with a hit button and they start brawling, and then they are like brawling in that little ring interview area all the way into the deep backstage. And as they're brawling, the referees and scary people are trying to break them apart, and back behind them you see a door, and this door, all of a sudden you see this arm come through this door. It has it has a glove on, like a biker style glove,
like a long sleeve shirt,
and a long sleeve shirt, which I think is a hoodie, but a long sleeve shirt, and it just holding his hand over the door. Then it disappears. So that was very, very subtle. If you missed it, you got to go back and watch it. Like the first time, I missed it because Prime was telling me something that I thought about it. I was just like, "Oh snap, is that the Fiend?" But then I thought about it. I was like, I don't think that makes sense to try to debut him or tease him here. I think that was along the lines of Dexter Lumis, because the material on his arm looked like a hoodie, and that's what Dexter Lumis had on when we saw him later on that night. And it's one of those biker style gloves with the back of the hand open, where
that's why I kind of thought it was, because he got the same kind of glove, but again, I just like how it was subtle though. So even it was subtle, either way.
Gotcha.
Like I like how they went look at his hand. It was just subtle in the background. If you see it, you see it.
Exactly. So it took me a couple of times. I was like, oh, now I see it. But I do think it's just pertaining to Dexter Lumis and how this whole Dexter Lumis storyline thing is going to come down.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's going to be a match later. I missed what happened with Miz and Ciampa backstage. So
I didn't see them backstage. I didn't see their match. I didn't see the backstage segment.
But they had a tag team matchup. Ciampa and Miz taking on Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali.
Right, they did the Ciampa pat on the back thing together. Like the Miz and Ciampa did the clap on the apron, sitting on it, and then they patted it back. I was like, all right, okay, Miz is getting it.
Yeah, he's getting it, but it ain't gonna be for long. So
not for long.
This right here, I'm like, I can see Ali and Alexander becoming a tag team. They had good chemistry. They had really good matches back in the day.
They are not in canon, but on main event they are a team. Okay. They have matching gear and everything.
Really?
Yes. That's the main event though, or because I mean, they post their stuff on Twitter and stuff for them coming out. So on main event, I'm assuming they are a team, and then on the main roster they don't know each other. So
Okay, well, I can say I can see them being a good tag team. Like I said, they got a lot of history. Yeah, they've had a lot of good, really good matches, and I think both their styles they can make a actually really good tag team. And I think that could be especially a way to go for both of these guys who don't get any kind of love any other time. So I think that would be a way to go. But however, Ciampa and win in the Miz hits win the match after Ciampa hits Ali with the fairy tale ending. So it was I thought it was a decent tag match. Obviously, it say what?
I'm saying yep.
Like I said, for the wrestling part it was good, but obviously you got to build back up Ali and Alexander. So obviously you did not have any faith that he was going to win this match in the first place when they've been booked as losers for the past like 2-3 years.
Yeah, especially Ali.
Exactly. They showed a replays of Kevin Owens annihilating Ezekiel, and then it says a photo is shown with Ezekiel. Did you see this photo?
What is it?
Did you see this photo of Ezekiel in the hospital?
Yeah, the family. Yes.
Oh my God! I thought she was hilarious.
Then they had another one with just like a close with just the dad.
Yeah, and it was just like, and then every one of them, like people like us, it's like it's Elias dressed up as all like these different versions of like what's going on. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this Elias Ezekiel character moving forward. Wally's at ringside as we get a WrestleMania 39 package, and I was just like, okay. But Drew McIntyre makes his way to the ring. He cuts a promo. Let everybody know, hey, make some noise, Washington D.C. And he's basically how he's gonna go to Clash of. It's gonna be Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns and Clash of the Champions. Clash of the Castle. And when he wins the championship, he'll be on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown and all live events. And anywhere Ty's supposed to be defended, because that's what the WWE fans deserve. And he started going down a list of names, talk about who he could possibly face and have some kind of cool matches with. He mentioned Ciampa, he mentioned AJ Styles, he mentioned the new Seth freaking Rollins, and also like it's supposed to face Karrion Kross. But Kevin Owens' music comes on. He comes out and says it's funny. He said, oh, and also Kevin Owens. He says it's funny how you mention me now, you mention my name when you actually see me. And he was like, he was not being recognized for the past 5 years. He haven't hold a title in the past 5 years, and he's looking to hold, whether it be the WWE, he said Intercontinental Championship, U.S. Championship, Tag Team Championship. He dropped that one down also, and he was basically telling Drew McIntyre he didn't know who he was because he was coming out here with a kilt and a sword. So he's basically like coming at. This is their subtle shots coming at the Vince era. And,
yep, subtly.
Yeah, and then he said in the same arena in Battleground, I forgot how many years ago, him and Sami Zayn had a fantastic match. Here, so we're dropping news that we don't ever never get allowed to do, and he says enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Every champion's a target, and he told you to list all the champions, and then whether it's Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre, you're going to be a target. And then he says, McIntyre says, I cannot stand when people tell lies about him. 15 years ago, he was called the chosen one, and then he got fired. And then he says, WWE called him. WWE called him after a couple years went by, and he didn't call them. And he said he's a two-time champion, beat Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Goldberg. But he said, but it doesn't matter because nobody wants to hear us talk. We are two wrestlers in a wrestling ring. How about they wrestle? And then Kevin Owens says, you know what? Look, you're not the prize fighter, I am, so let's just get on into this. And they break to a commercial. Automatically, I thought the promo was good, especially how intense both KO and Drew McIntyre was. And also, we can't lie. They bring up wrestling, the term wrestling.
Especially Drew. Drew made it more passionate. Obviously, the scripted promos are no more, obviously. So I like it.
I agree. So now, it like I said, it felt passionate and it felt over scripted or anything like that. And now we get Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens in I thought was probably one of the matches of the night. My personal opinion, because they went out there like two horses going and killing each other from super kicks to headbutts to Kevin Owens gives frog splash to Drew McIntyre.
I might need Kevin Owens to bring back the pump up pound bomb full time.
I agree with you on that one too. It'll probably be well, I don't want him to use it as a setup move because he still obviously look like he's using the stunner. The stunner needs to be the finish if that's the case. But I still want that to be a devastating finishing move also. That pop up power bomb. Well, I mean, we got a couple near falls from Drew McIntyre hits Kevin Owens from the middle rope with what does he call that move? It's like a white noise or it's like a she's air raid slam. It's like all that kind of stuff. But Drew called it something special, so I forgot what he called it.
So stupid, probably.
Yeah, probably. Crown chance, this is awesome. And then McIntyre hits the white noise. The white noise, there we go. That's what it's called. But Kevin Owens kicks out, and then he tries to go for a Claymore kick, but then Owens counters into a stunner attempt, but McIntyre hits the Glasgow kisser, and then Owens responds to a super kick.
You should use that as a more higher up finisher or signature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both men down, and then who comes in? It's the Usos. They start attacking Drew McIntyre, and they throw the match out. So when McIntyre starts to fight off the Usos, kind of, he gets back in the ring and gets stunned by Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens is like, "Yo, tell your boss, the Tribal Chief, that he owes me one." I like where that's going. Because I think that could lead to him and Sammy teaming up and win these tag team belts from the Usos at Clash of the Castle. So, what do you think? Where you see this going? Are you all right over there?
Yeah, I would need you to repeat that.
I said, how do you think? How this is going to work out with the whole Drew McIntyre
bloodline? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I dropped my phone. Sorry. All right. So, I think that ultimately,
and going on with Kevin Owens is he's going to tag with Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I think we could be getting your method, but then again, where does that put? Like, does that put Kimmy and Sammy just as heel faces, or in the middle, or like how did that work?
Well, I think Kevin's going to be like an intense babyface, and Sami Zayn is going to probably fly more to his side anyway because when he finds out that Roman ain't shit and that they don't really care about him, so
okay,
that's why I think it's going to be it. We got Seth Freaking Rock about to come to the ring. Riddle's getting set up for an interview. Everybody's like, well, we don't know where he's at. We know where he's in the back, but nobody was supposed to know he's in the back. And then Seth Rollins comes out there and talks about all times he beat down Riddle. Riddle gets up on the screen and says, look, bro, I'm not in my grandmother's basement. I'm right here in the backstage, and I'm coming out there to get you. So he comes out there, and he gets the best of Rollins, and Seth Rollins goes back to beating his ass again.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Triple H hates Riddle.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? He go there beating his ass again, but then Riddle Seth Rollins about to curb stomp Riddle on the announce table. But then it doesn't happen because he gives Seth Rollins a knee that goes him into the crowd and halfway chases him. So that was the segment between Riddle and Seth Rollins, which we later find out that it will be Riddle taking on Seth Rollins at Clash of the Castle.
Ooh, big match at it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it's gonna be good though. Yeah.
Quick, Vera Mahal has a squash match. He wins by submission. Now we go into Dakota Kai is walking backstage. She runs into Dana Brooke, and Dana Brooke talks about some. She always stays ready 24/7, and then but Dakota Kai is just like, it's good to be scared sometimes. So and it walks off because she has a match with Dana Brooke tonight. I was like, Dana Brooke, why would y'all do that shit tonight? To be honest with y'all. But next up is the United States Championship match. AJ Styles taking on Bobby Lashley. Good matchup by these two. Power meets the finesse. And AJ Styles was really bumping around for Bobby, making his hit.
He was bumping for no reason. Bobby touched him and he flopped.
That man was making Bobby's power moves look good.
Mm-hmm.
We get out to then as Miz and Ciampa come out, Ciampa distracts Bobby Lashley, and Miz is trying to get a cheap shot on AJ Styles. But then all of a sudden, we see this hooded figure jump the barricade, and I don't know if he was coming after AJ Styles or not, but he was definitely he was tackled down by security guards to the point where they try to make it seem real because it was like, Corey, watch out, because the security guards was having trouble holding him, and he kind of pushed him into the announce table, and then all of a sudden the screen went black.
Of course he did.
Yeah, and we went to a commercial, and then we came back, and then we were back at the United States Championship matchup, and they ignored it like it was an actual fan that jumped the barricade, which I like. Because when you acknowledge stuff, we acknowledge it like that, it's just like, it kind of messes with the vibe of the storyline.
I think somebody said, I seen real fans get through security better than that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, they definitely ain't checking to make sure nobody jumping as soon as they jump. They definitely doing that because we had a lot of incidents.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. The only thing that I think is funny that they almost got, even though it's a part of the show, is you probably go look this up. One time, it was like a Lana Rusev segment. They had the preacher, and the preacher for some reason decided he was in the front row, wherever they had him at. He decided I'm gonna go and run in the ring and slide in the ring instead of just walking, getting up the steps. So he slid in the ring and they beat him up. I'm gonna have to show you because it's like one of those segments where they standing in the ring after somebody wins the match.
Yeah.
And all you see is the person raising their hand on the stage and somebody getting stomped out in the ring. I'm gonna try to find it for you. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
Oh yeah, no. But they get back to the matchup and things start to get real good. AJ goes for a phenomenal forearm, but then Bobby runs under it and then hits him with a spear, wins the matchup. It was a good matchup between AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley, especially when somebody has not wrestled each other. So there's a lot of stuff that they still had to learn about each other. But the chemistry was there, and they end up having a good matchup.
Yeah.
And like I said, we get these interesting follow-ups to Dexter Lumis, but we never really know what's going on with the Dexter Lumis storyline.
Well, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time thinking of where it can go, cause he's stalking AJ, but what did AJ do?
I think it's all part of the point. I think it's or it could be leading to the way. It could be leading to Gargano and Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. It's a possibility.
It could, but then I just want to know why is he trying to jump the barricade for AJ every week? What would the way have to do with that? Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a non-title Dana Brooke or Dakota Kai. Look, it's a glorified squash match. She face washes girl, and that's basically about it. It was a straight wash. I don't know what they're gonna do with the 24/7 championship. I don't know how they're gonna plan on doing it, but whatever they do,
I don't know how they're gonna throw it in the trash. But I hope they do.
I know, but whatever they do, Dana Brooke better hold on tight and say her last goodbyes because it's about to go away, and it ain't gonna be no need for it. It's not gonna be no more for it. Right now we're at the main event, and it's Theory versus Dolph Ziggler. So good matchup by these two. Obviously, Dolph Ziggler is a heck of a wrestler. And he's going to go out there and give y'all, 110%. Because there was no interference or anything like that. It was just straight up, just wrestling basically. Theory wins here, with the 8 down after Ziggler tries to go for a famouser. He gets caught up on it, and that's what Theory puts him on the ropes. Which, by the way, I did not even mention how I enjoy how the calf crusher was reversed into the hurt lock. Even though he didn't win that way, I was like, that was kind of creative.
I wish it could start like DDP had just a lot of ways to get into it. There's kind of only one way you can get into a full Nelson though. Something you have to get one arm or the other arm, or both at the same time. But I kind of like how DDP can just do his finisher out of any move.
Okay, no, I feel Theory wins the matchup here, and like I said, he with the 8 down, it doesn't, just does himself and everything, and that was it for Raw this week. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the whole Dexter Lumis thing. And
it's weird, but I want to see what they do with it.
Like I said, that arm. I know we want to think Fiend, but it doesn't fit. Because even if it was the hurt gloves and stuff like that he wears, because the Fiend has the gloves where the wrist is unbuckled like that. So I got Dexter Lumis. I just don't know where this creep is going to take off at. So post down in the comments down below what you guys think. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed our review. Hit the subscribe button for more.
Our review.
Our review. I know.
Okay. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. Hit the subscribe button for more. So once again, this is NCN Place to Be Children saying and not Deion Sanders for prime time.
Yo, my son is 3 years old. She won't let me see my son. I don't know what's going on.
Bye, and we are out.